Fine. Yesterday we have discussed about OAF architecture, model, view, controller. Okay. So I'll just go through that once so that it will be. Fine. So as we discussed yesterday session, it is a model view controller architecture. We call it as MVC architecture. Okay. So here model means our database objects, controller means our Java class, view means our page. Okay. So what model contains? Model contains BC4J components, business components for Java. It contains entity object, view object, application module. 3. What is entity object? It is used to make some DML operations. View object is select statement. View object is nothing but a query result, select statement. AM is application module. By using this, we can go for handle the transactions. Means insert, update, delete, commit, rollback, select, this all. View is nothing but your page design. View is nothing but our page design. UIX, user interface XML. User interface XML. Controller is nothing but our code. Controller is nothing but our code. It's indirectly Java class. Controller class. Controller class. Now what is the interaction between MVC architecture? In the model we will find the objects, view object, entity object, application module. In the controller we'll see Java class, HTML page will see the view option. Okay. So if any logic we want to write, that we have to write in the controller. It's Java class, here only we'll write. We don't write any logic here. View object nothing but a select statement. Entity object is nothing but a data source. Data source means data table name or view name or materialized view or synonym. It can be any object. So when you want to apply some DML operations through EO only, it is possible. Through EO only, it is possible. When we are developing search pages, we'll work with view object. When we are working with data entry pages, data entry means user want to insert the record, update the record, delete the record. Then we have to use the entity object. Okay. Even if we create entity object, we must create view object and attach to AM. There is no interaction between AM and entity object directly. Directly we don't have any interaction. If you create an entity object, immediately we have to create a view object and attach to the AM. This AM we can access from our controller. Then when user click the page buttons or checkboxes, your controller will be exported. This is your database. This is our database. Fine. What is entity object? Entity object is based on the database table or other data source. Entity object contains the attributes, nothing but a columns. All insert, update, delete operations, transactions must go through the entity object. Must go through the entity object. Okay. So view objects are two types, SQL based and EO based. SQL based means only select statement. When we create entity object, we must create a view object for this. We must create a view object for this. If we look at the diagram, if you look at entity object you have created, immediately we have to create a view object for that. Otherwise we cannot access the entity object, we cannot attach to AM. AM cannot be accessed from this controller. Okay, fine. What is AM? It contains only view objects. Every page must have a root application module, nothing but a root AM. One AM is required for every page. Then it will be used to handle the transactions. Handle the transactions. This architecture we'll see when we are working with the page. Then what about controller? Controller is nothing but a Java class. Okay. It responds to user actions. It responds to user actions and directs application flow. What it contains here is, from the controller we are going to access the only AM first. From the AM we are going to access the view objects and then entity object. What this controller contains, it contains three methods. Process request, process form request, one more is process form data. Just 1 second. Process request, process form request, process form data. Process form data method we don't use. We cannot write any logic in that method. Okay, so that we'll discuss later theoretically. These two methods we are going to use in our controller, in our class. Process request, process form request. When we go for process request, when this method will be fired, it fires when OAF page loads for the first time. When the page is loaded first time, this method will be fired. So if you want to write some logic, when the page is open, this logic should execute. Then where you have to write your logic? In this method, process request method you have to write. Process form request is used, fires when user submit the page. Nothing but when user click the buttons or checkboxes or labels, then or icons, then this method will be fired. So that we will be used to write the code. Okay. Next, how the controller class is going to be executed. User is going to open the page and user clicks some button or label or checkbox here. Internally it will connect to the controller. Internally it will connect to the controller, and inside of the controller, if you are doing some database activities, nothing but a select statement, insert, update, it will go to the model and retrieve the data and it will show you. Sometimes I don't want database data, plain text or some general calculations. Then what happened? Your controller will not go to model. It will not connect to the model. It will directly comes to your view and show the information, some debug messages or something. Okay. So that is how it will be doing. We'll develop the controllers without data, without model, with view only. We'll discuss that. Next, MVC architecture. Whatever architecture we have discussed, now we'll see here. This is nothing but a view. That is our HTML page. And controller, what are the methods? Two methods: process request, process form request. Then we will find model right here. We'll find model here. In the model, what are the things? We are going to find AM, application module, and entity objects, view objects. Entity objects are used for read and write, to read the data as well as for write. When we want to read only, we'll go for view object. Okay. So it's very simple. When you are developing data entry pages, entity object. When we are developing search pages, view object. That's simple. Next, this is the onion architecture. We have discussed lowest onion is database, then entity object, view object, AM layer, controller layer. Okay. So you are in entity object means you will be knowing only database. If you are in view object, you will come to know what are the entity objects and database. If you are in AM, you can find view object, entity object and database. If you are in controller, you can access AM, view object, entity object and as well as database. Each layer only knows about the layers below it. Below it. This. How the data will be pulled, how the data will be pushed. When you want to pull the data, means when you want to select the data, what do you have to do? You have to create a view object, nothing but a select statement, pull the data, and you want to write any calculations, filtering, joining, sorting. This can be done in your controller and display. If we want to push the data, insert, update, delete, then what we have to do? Entity object will be created. For that, view object will be created. That you will access from your controller. That is data pull and data push. Then these are profiles will be used to work with personalizations. When we are working with personalizations session, we'll discuss about these profiles. This version of JDeveloper 10G and 11G also we can use. When we are working with JDeveloper tool, what is the structure? First we'll create Java workspace. Inside of that Java project. Inside of that we'll develop the pages. JPR stands Java project. JWS stands for Java workspace. Here mainly we'll find three folders: web UI, dart server. Yes, that is the extension, right? If we develop report, what is the extension for that? .rdf. Like that, that is a standard. In MS Word, we'll develop a document. What is the extension? .doc. In the way, here also project means .jpr, workspace means .jws. Okay. So inside of the project, we are going to design the pages. Where do we place the pages? Web UI, web user interface folder. View objects and application modules will place it on the server folder. Entity object will be working with .schema.server. This one, that we'll discuss later. So one table means one entity object. Yes, in one project we'll go for either one schema.server or multiple also. We can have, if we are developing the page with multiple entity objects, we'll create multiple entity object here. We'll keep it under the same folder. Under the same folder, we'll keep these two entity objects. Okay, fine. So this is what we have discussed yesterday. Let me go for JDeveloper now. So any doubts here we have? One second. Yesterday we have seen the JDeveloper tool and we have seen 5 windows, right? What are that 5 windows? Structure, hierarchy, log window, property palette and controller. These are minimum. And we want to develop a OAF page. These are 5 windows we'll be using. OAF installation, sorry, JDeveloper installation, it takes around 10 to 15 minutes time in your laptop. If you want to install in your laptop, contact Naresh. Okay, so he'll go for this is Naresh number. So you can contact him and he'll tell you how to install. We can download this software from Oracle website. You can download from Oracle website and we can do it. So let's open JDeveloper. Here is the shortcut. Open the JDeveloper tool. First we'll see how to create a Java workspace. Then we'll see how to create a project. Then we'll go for develop one simple page. And AM is mandatory. Without AM, we cannot create a page. Application module is mandatory. Without AM, we cannot create a page. AM must be created first. Then we will go for creation of the page. It means two folders we are using, .webui and .server. Okay. So today completely we'll discuss about page design. How to design the pages. What are the different regions we have. We are not writing any logic today. So tomorrow we will go for view object. Tomorrow we'll go for view objects. Today we are talking about how to create a Java workspace, how to create a Java project, how to create AM, how to create the page and execute the page So now this is JDeveloper tool. So first we required a structure window. Select view menu, structure window. Here we'll go for creation of new workspace. Here is the option new. Select new option to create Java workspace. To create Java workspace. So here we can go for new application or new project, new Java class. This Java classes we'll discuss later. In ADF business components will work with application module. In OA components will work with the pages. Okay. So right now we are just creating one application. Name of the application, let's say Dell underscore application. Press OK. Just give the application name enough. Press OK. Now inside of that we are going for project, Java project. What is the project name? Dell project. We are going to give the project name. Press OK. In which directory you would like to save the project, you will get automatically here. If you want to change the directory, we can change. Local machine only. So now we are developing the pages in local machine only. Later we'll see how to register in Oracle applications, how to deploy in Oracle applications. Now we are developing here only and we are going to compile here and execute. Okay. Later we'll see how to go for it. Yes, so just 1 second. View menu, application, navigator. Now here is the option to create a Java workspace. We have created application. Generally in the projects, application is not required, already created by the DBA. We'll go over Java workspace. Create Java workspace. Select your application. So right click, new project. Just now we created a Java workspace, Dell application, Java workspace. Right click, new project. In case if you want to create a new workspace, go to applications, right click, new OA workspace. New OA workspace. I've already created, but if you have already application navigator in your tool, if you want to create a Java workspace, go to applications, right click, new OA workspace. And what is the workspace name? Java workspace name. I'm going to mention Sony Java workspace. Sony Java workspace. .jws will get automatically, and where it's going to be saved, in which directory. When we install JDeveloper software, we'll be mentioning this path, in which directory. If we want to change, we can change. We can save in our own folder. We can create. Yes. Okay. Application we can create here in our practice, but when we are working in the project, already application will be created. We'll directly go for creation of the workspace. Okay. So if you have an application, how to create, right click, new OA workspace. Okay. Now once we create a workspace, what is the next step? We have to create the project. We have to create OA project. Okay. Yes, that's what we are going to discuss. Add a new OA project. It means we are going to add the new project. If I check this checkbox, what happened? Your project will be opened in the new navigator. New means here. If you look at here, we have existing Java workspaces, right? I would like to open this Java workspace in the separate window, separate navigator. Okay, so that's what you are going to select this. Now Java workspace is created. Inside of that, I'm going to create a new project that I'm going to open in the separate navigator. When you check this checkbox, add a new project, then automatically project window will be opened. Project window will be opened. Project wizard will be opened. Okay. So Oracle Applications Project Wizard. Click next button. What is the name of the project? Going to mention Sony project. Where you would like to save this project? Which directory? By default, in my projects folder, we'll be saving all our projects. In my projects folder, we are going to save in our local machine only, not server. Later we'll discuss how to upload into the Oracle application server and how to deploy in the front end. Same like reports. Reports we have learned first, report builder. Then we have seen how to register reports in Oracle application, same way of pages. Next, inside of this folder, in which folder again you would like to keep all your files. Default package is not something PLSQL package. Here package means folder. It is a structure, folder structure. Okay. So I'm going to mention the name of the company dot Oracle dot PO dot requisition dot web UI. This is the standard structure Oracle has suggested. Yes. We have to mention in your default folder. Okay. Third party identifier, nothing but your company name, your client name, dot Oracle, dot apps, dot application short name, nothing but your PO. In our training, we are discussing PO, dot component, dot subcomponent, dot web UI. So I am using PO dot requisition dot web UI. Otherwise, if we give any other package also, it will work. If you give other folder also, no problem, it will work. But every OAF page will be maintained in the same proper format. Okay. So example, your company name dot Oracle dot apps dot PO dot requisition dot web UI. If at all new folder, if you want to choose, your DBA or your team leader or project leader will tell us we are keeping all our OAF pages in so and so folder. when you are developing OAF page, please select this folder. That information we have to get it from the project leader or DBA. Okay, so that we are going to mention. Click next button. Database connection. Once we develop the page, obviously we'll write some database activities, right? Select statement or insert, update, delete. So how will you connect to the database? You can choose any existing database connection. Click next button. Your application connection. We have to create. We have to create a database connection. I'll show you tomorrow how to create database connection. That is simple. But generally when we are working in the project, obviously we have to use the existing connection only. Existing database connection. Okay. Otherwise today I'll show you end of the session. Simple. Just 2 steps required to create a database connection. Now then what about this connection? Previous one is a database connection. Then what about this connection? This is your application. This is your Oracle application connection. How will you connect to your Oracle applications? Now I have given the database connection, backend. Now we have to give the front end connection. So we are going to give the username here, operations and welcome, right? So that we have to mention here. Operations username, password is whatever we have, that welcome. You can also mention your username and password. Let's say 700 user, some password is there, that also. Then after we user provide username and password here, then how you are going to access your application? You are going to choose the responsibility, right? So once user log into Oracle applications, what is the next step we are going to do? We are going to select a responsibility, right? Same here also. What is your responsibility? In which responsibility you are going to open this page? That we have to mention. I would like to open in the system administrator responsibility. This is the responsibility key and this is the responsibility application short name. You can give any responsibility, you have the permission. Okay, you can give any responsibility, you have the permission. But right now I am using system administrator responsibility. Application short name is sysadmin. Any server, same. Operations and welcome. Yes. When we are working in the project. Yes. When we are working in the project, username and passwords are given by the DBA. Next, responsibility, application short name and responsibility key. Yes. Next, DBC file we have to choose. Database connectivity file. It will be located in the JDev home, JDev DBC files secure folder. In this folder, you will find database connectivity folder vas.dbc that we have to choose. Okay. So what is the path? JDev home, JDev DBC files secure. This is the path. Select the DBC file vas.dbc. So we have selected database connectivity file, Oracle applications username and password, which responsibility you are going to open this page. That is for internal database connectivity purpose. Click next button and finish. Now your project will be opened in the separate tab. Now the project will be opened in the separate tab. These are basic setups we have to do for any page when we are developing. For any page we are developing. See, we got separate tab and this is our Java workspace. This is our Java project and by default we'll get some folders here. We'll discuss that later. No problem. Okay. So what is the first step we have done? we have created Java workspace. Create Java workspace. That's what we have done first. Then after that we have created Java project. Next we are going to create AAM, application module. Then we will go for create page. Then we will go for creation of page. Then we have to attach page to the AAM. We have to attach, AAM to the page. We have to attach AAM to the page. Then after that, we have to run the page. We have to run the page. So these are we are going to do it. Now two actions we have done. We have seen how to create a Java workspace. We have seen how to create a Java project. Now we are going to create a AAM. We are going to create a AAM. These are basic steps when you want to develop a page, whether simple page, master detail page, search page or complex. Any page you want to develop, these are basic steps. Okay. Once you create Java workspace and Java project, you don't need to create every time. Within this only you can go for making all these things. Okay. Couple of examples will create separate workspace, separate project because we don't want to get confused. Initially we have to get practice, right? That's why I'll create separate Java workspace, separate project and separate AAM we are going to do. Next examples, we don't need to create every time Java workspace and Java project. Within the project only we'll go for developing the multiple pages. Multiple pages. Fine. Now how to create the AAM? Go to your project, right click, go to project, right click, now we have to go to the project, right click, new, go to project, right click, new, ADF business components, ADF business components, application module, ADF business components, application module. Now we are going to create a AAM. We don't write any logic, we'll just create AAM. Where do we create AAM? Which folder? Now it is a create application module wizard. Which folder you are going to create your AAM? Dot server. These folders we have to remember, right? Here we discussed. AAM will be created in dot server. AAM will be created in dot server. So here you have to mention dot server. And what is the name of the AAM? I'm going to mention Sony AAM. I've given capital letters here AAM. This is just for recognition purpose. When I see the name, I can understand it is a AAM. Okay. So otherwise if we give any name, it will accept. Extends is when you are doing the extensions. For example, you developed the page with one AAM. After some time, client is asking some customization in the AAM. Then you have to use the extends option for extensions, nothing but a customizations. That we'll discuss later. Click next button. We don't do anything in the AAM, just we'll go for creation of AAM. Click next button, finish. Now AAM is created successfully. How will you find AAM is created successfully or not? Go to application sources. What is your project? Sony.oracle.po requisition server, here is your AM. What are the files are created I want to see in the AM? When you want to see the hierarchy of this AM, which window we have to open? Hierarchy window. Yesterday we discussed, right? Yes. So select the hierarchy window, select this AM, hierarchy. Let me close this. Let's go for a structure window. Fine. Hierarchy window or structure window. Go to structure. Select the AM, then it is going to show the structure. Whenever you create an AM, internally one Java class is created. One XML file also generated. This BC4J component also generated. These files we'll discuss later. We don't want this right now. Okay, fine. Now if we look at here, I am able to see other projects also. Something RTL underscore update, RTL underscore LOV, like this. We don't want to see these projects. I want to see only my project. I don't want to get confused. I would like to see only my project and work with my project. Then what we have to do, we have to go to the project, right click, project properties. Go to right click, project properties, include and exclude. Include and exclude. What are the projects you would like to include in your window right now? And what are the projects you would like to exclude? Right now I want to include only one project. So click add button. It will show you what is your folder name. Sony is our folder name. Select this. And it will automatically show you where exactly it is in your folder. Press OK. Now we don't find other projects here. We don't find other project folders. We'll find only our project. This. Now we have created AM successfully. Now we have to go for page creation. Now we have to go for page creation. Where do we create the page? Which folder? .webui. .webui folder we have to create the page. Web user interface. Okay. So go to your requisition folder, or you can go to project also. If you go to the project, right click, new OA components page, and press OK. Now you can see it is going to ask you what is your page name. Sony page. And what is the package. You got automatically .webui. You don't need to enter. We got .webui folder automatically. Press OK. Now you can see we got a separate folder WebUI. In the WebUI folder, what we got? Page. Whenever we select the page, in the structure window, we are able to see all your page components. When I select the AM, I am able to see all AM components. Whenever we select the page, right side you will see page properties, right? When we select the page, we will find right side page properties. Okay. Fine. So OAF page contains multiple regions. At least one region is required. Whenever we say OAF page is a group of regions. Group of regions. OAF page is group of regions. Region is nothing but some space. For example, if this is my page, this I can make it as one region. This I can make it as another region. Like that, multiple regions will be there. At least one region you will find. At least one region will be fine. What is that region? Page layout. That is the default region. We'll find a default region as page layout. So in OAF page, you will find multiple regions. At least one region is required, that is page layout region. By default, it will be available in your page. By default, it will be available in your page. Now if I go to JDeveloper page here, and we can see that region is there. Select the region. What type of region this is? Page layout region. There are number of regions. We'll discuss one by one later. Okay. By using this region styles, we will design the page. Okay. So now we have created a page. Inside of that, one base region is there. That is page layout. Next, we have to assign the AM to the page. We have to assign application module to the page. How to assign that? Go to your region properties. Go to your region properties. There is a property called AM definition. There is a property called AM definition. Why we have to assign the AM to the page? Whatever the view objects and entity objects you have in the AM, that we can access from the page. That we can access from the page. Now go to the property called AM definition. Attach the AM to the page. Attach the AM to the page. We are able to see multiple AMs here. Let me go for Sony.oracle.po.requisition. This, press OK. Now we have attached our AM. This AM I have assigned to the page. We have to configure one more property called window title. This is mandatory. Otherwise, we'll get error message. So two properties we must assign to the page region. Okay, what is that? One, attach the AM. Another one is window title. Another one is window title. Window title means where it will be displayed in the top of the window here. Normal title means we can mention this here. Oracle, some suppliers normal title, but normal title property is not mandatory. Window title is mandatory. Okay, so now we have just created one page. We have not defined any regions or logic or controller here. We have just created one AM, then we have attached AM to the page. Yes, go to yes. When we select the region, sorry, when we select the page, go to region, then it will show you region properties. Now run the page. Select page, right click, run. Before running, we can go for build the page, nothing but a compilation, building the page. We have not written any logic, right? So directly we can run. Now you can see we got a log window and it will shows how the OAF page is going to be compiled. If there are any warning messages, error messages, it will shows here. Warning messages generally we don't need to worry. If there are any error messages, then we have to see. Warning messages are common that we will be getting. we got error message. Click here. FND invalid application. We have given some application name as FND. It is showing that is invalid application. But we have given system administrator, right? Not FND. System administrator we have given. Let me check that. Tools menu, default project properties, Oracle applications, runtime connection. We have sysadmin and system administrator. Then why we are getting this error message? Okay. Let me create another project. Right click, new OA project, next button, name of the project, first underscore project, default package, first dot, oracle dot, apps dot, po dot, requisition dot, web UI. Next button. We can choose any database connection, whatever we have. Then choose the DBC file name, Oracle applications username and password, and Oracle applications responsibility key and responsibility application short name. Click next button, finish. Now we have created the project. After creating the project, what is the next step? We have to create the AM. We have to create AM. Go to the project, right click, go to project, right click, right click, new, ADF business components, application module, press OK. AM must be created in the server folder. Name of the AM, first AM, click next button. We don't do anything in the AM, just create and finish the project. Now when we go to application sources, we are able to see other folders also that we don't want. Right click, project properties, go to project content. By default we'll get a project content. Okay, include your folders, include your folders, add first folder, press OK. We'll see only this dot server folder. Here we will be keeping our AM. Next go to project, right click, new, OA components page. Page must be placed in .webui folder. Name of the page. Yes. Once we create a page, by default there will be one region called page layout region. Attach the AM to the page. Attach the AM to the page. Yes, here we are getting some server message. Yes. So this is a problem. Somebody has created a dummy project and they mentioned some error. I don't think so will work. Fine. Attach the AM and window title and build the page. If there are any errors, we'll see here itself. We don't have any errors in the compilation. Run the page. Yes. So now this is the OAF page we have designed, and here you will find your window title called test, and by default we got this. The previous page, why we got error message is somewhere we have given the wrong path. Sony.oracle.apps we have missed. That path we have not configured properly. Here first dot oracle dot apps dot po dot requisition dot server dot web UI. So here that apps dot we have missed. So that's what if you want to use this folder, you have to configure it. Right now this is the folder as configured. Okay, so that's why it's working. So if you want one more project, we can go ahead. Go to your workspace, right click, new OA project, name of the project. Here we have to enter properly. Second dot oracle dot apps dot po dot requisition dot web UI. This we have to enter. Not required. That it takes automatically dot JPR. Project extension is dot JPR. It takes automatically. Just you have to enter your project name of the project. Any project name we can enter. Now enter this folder path, perfect. Then click next button. Database connection. Click next button. What is your application username and password? And responsibility application short name and a responsibility key. And what is the DBC file name? Click next button and finish. Now the project is created successfully. We'll see the project in the workspace. We'll see the project in the workspace. Where is the project? Here. When I go to the project, right click, we have to create AM. Go to project, right click, create AM. Right click, new, ADF business components, application module. Where do we create application module? Server folder. So what application module contains? It will be used to handle your transactions. We don't write any code or we don't do anything. It will be used to handle our transactions. Just enter the application module name and folder called server. Once we create AM and go to our project, we'll see multiple folders. We'll see all the folders. Go to application source, we'll see all the folders. But we want only our folder, right? We would like to see only our folder. We can have other folders, not a problem. But instead of having other folders, we would like to work with our folder right now. Go to the project, right click, project properties, include. Whatever the folders you would like to include, that we have to choose. Now we'll see only our folder. Second dot, Oracle dot, apps dot, po dot, requisition server. AM is already created. When we create AM, internally, we'll see the XML file, Java class, BC4J configuration file. What exactly it contains, we'll discuss later. Right now, just create AM. Next, what we have to do, go to requisition, right click. We can do here also, no problem. Or you can go to project, right click. Both are same. If you do the right click option anywhere, it will. So go to project, right click, new, OA components page. OA components page. Here we are going to mention the page name. Where do we create a page? Which folder? Web UI folder. Press OK. Once we create a page, by default one region will be there, page layout region. Attach your AM to the page. Attach the AM to the page. What is your page name? Second. Sorry, what is the AM name? Second. Yes. Attach the AM. Window title is mandatory. Title is not mandatory. If we want to provide, we can provide. Then run the page. Go to page, right click, run. OAF page contains the regions. At least one region is required. Default region is page layout region. We have multiple regions called table region, stack region, flex region, message component layout region, tab region. These all default single column, default multiple columns, advanced table region, search region, query region, like this. Those all we'll discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow class we'll discuss all the regions. Right now you got some default region called page layout region. That is the default region. Inside of that we will go for create multiple regions, whatever we want. So in the page completely we are going to design it. We don't write any logic here. It's completely look and feel. Completely look and feel, designing part. Okay. Now we can see by default we got this. Now if we don't want this logo, we can remove it. And the client logo, whatever is required for them, we can keep it. And this about this page, privacy statement, copyright, these all are branding information. We call it as a branding information. That also we can hide. If client don't want this information, we can hide. We'll discuss that later. Now what we have configured, window title we have configured. Then we have configured the title. So both the things are displayed here. So if you want to develop any OAF page, these are the basic steps we have to do. These are the basic steps. After attaching the AM to the page, we need to set the window title. Window title property is mandate. Window title property is mandate. Okay, fine. So this you can practice. So couple of pages you can create, and you have to be perfect how to create a simple page. Okay. DBC connection, okay, simple. How to create a DBC connection. Okay. Go to view menu. Go to view menu. There is separate window. There is separate window. Go to view menu, connection navigator, connection navigator. This window will be opened. Connections. Go to connections. Here is the option database, right? Go to database. It is showing already database connections which are already created. Go to database folder, right click, new database connection. Right click, new database. If you click this option, manually you have to do it. If you select this option, wizard will be opened. Wizard means it will guide you and it will ask like an interview model. You have to enter the information. Both are same. Manual means you have to configure manually properties. This is wizard based. It is a simple, we can go for wizard based. New database connection, right? Now it's a wizard. Click next button. It is going to ask you what is your connection name. I'm going to mention Sony database connection. Okay, next. Connection type, generally it will be JDBC, Java database connectivity. What is your database username, password and role? What is our database username? Apps. Password is apps, VAS. Whatever we are using database. When we connect to SQL prompt, whatever we use, same here also. Next, click next button. Now here it is going to ask you what is your host name, what is your port number, what is your service ID. 3 parameters we have to pass. When you are working in the project, you want to know these details, it is very simple. Go to the Toad, session, new connection. Here also you are connecting to the database only. When I go to new connection, there is one button here, TNS names editor. TNS names editor. TNS names editor. Click this button. Click this button. You will get error message, no problem. But it will open the editor. Go to text editor. And here you will come to know what is your host name, what is your port number, what is your service ID. So copy this host name. Copy the host name. Next, what is your port number? 1521. So that's same only. What is your service ID? VAS. That's it. For example, your client is not using the Toad. They have not installed the Toad. Then there will be a file called tnsnames.wara file. tnsnames.wara file. That will be there in your system. You have to search, download that file. Same information you will find there also. tnsnames.wara file. Now click next button. Test your database connection. Successfully tested. Click next button. Finish. We have created database connection, right? You want to modify, right click, properties, database name you want to change, you want to change the authentication, or you want to change the connection details, testing it. Okay. Once database connection is created, this window we don't want, right? This is not required, no problem, close. Now we can go for create a workspace, right click, create a project, new OA project. Let's say something test dot oracle dot apps dot po dot requisition dot web UI. Click next button and we can choose our database connection and go for next. This is common. So this is how to create a database connection. How to create that: view menu, connection navigator, go to database folder, right click, new database and give the details. Fine. So tomorrow we'll discuss the page design. Tomorrow we'll discuss the page design.